Hey there, friends. Welcome back. Today we are talking episode 3 of The Penguin. And please forgive my outfit. I'm actually about to run out the door to the Nickelodeon lot for a SpongeBob event, hence the yellow, the shells, the everything. But let us go away from Bikini Bottom and deep dive into the dark bellows of Gotham City. Most specifically, we got to see a lot of Victor in today's episode. I had been hearing from a lot of my other breakdown friends that they felt that the Penguin and Victor had more of a symbiotic and almost like Batman and Robin, almost foils to Batman and Robin, and I hadn't seen that. I, like Victor, felt that the Penguin was almost like Stockholm Syndrome, very victim energy, and I love the Penguin in this show, and I'm slowly becoming more attuned to the Penguin. I just obviously had watched The Joker, and what I really, The Joker 2, Folie à Deux, and it's interesting because those two characters, the Penguin and that Joker, are very similar in the way that they use their weak disposition to almost be charismatic. You want to fall for these people, or you want to fall for their tactics because you feel bad for them. There is something innate in humans that we find when we see weakness, we want to nurture it, we want to shelter it, unlike animals that will literally cast them out and beat them or destroy them because the weakens the herd. It's a very primal thing to want to destroy something, but humanity wants to shelter the weak. We want to take care of the weak. We want to foster the weak. We want to aid the weak. And so it's interesting to see the Penguin in this weird vulnerability where and even Victor, they share this vulnerability and this weakness. Both of them are broken characters, and even if we're going to throw Sophia into that, these are all three very broken characters. But I love that we got to see the Penguin more in a role of dominance. It was eerie. I hated it and I loved it all the same. It was different than, I guess, bringing back the Joker Folie à Deux. His manipulation tactic was always, I'm weak, I'm sheltered, I'm shy. And while the Penguin, I've talked about this in my other breakdowns, while the Penguin does do that as well, he does use his weakness to his advantage. He's able to almost be a fly on the wall, or just like use his meekness because people underestimate him. They underestimate him because of his weakness. But it was beautiful to see that more manipulative, that the cunning behind the Penguin, that he could look Victor in the eye, and after Victor had this vulnerable moment with him, this it almost felt like friendship, finally true friendship at the dinner table, where Victor is opening up about how he lost his family, and to see that on screen, because we talk about that, or at least I talk about that in my friend group a lot, when all of these bombs and this devastation happen, we never get to see the on the ground people. And I talk about that a lot when I'm talking about the Avengers. We're blowing up these cities, but who are the people that are actually on the ground having to deal with the devastation? Who is the FEMA of these Gotham, DC, Marvel? I want to know about the on the ground people, the street level people, the people like myself. It's wonderful that we see all these superheroes, but eventually I want to know what the average Joe is dealing with. And we got to see that in this episode. We got to see the family dynamics. We got to see Hispanic representation on the screen, and to go from this beautiful, loving family environment. I love too how quickly the smallest decision can change your entire life. Victor's mother reaching out to him saying, hey, bring your girlfriend here, have dinner here. And had he have said, okay, Ma, absolutely, let me call Gloriella or Gabriella and have her come over, they all would have been wiped out. But because they chose to be up on the roof, I think it lends into Victor's decision-making to stay with the Penguin. And it might be to other people a bad decision because his ma and his pa were like, oh, is so-and-so going to be there? I don't want you there. But had he have not been there, he would have lost his life like his family did. And so I think in that decision-making, the same thing happens again, where his girlfriend is about to leave and he has this option to go with her, to start over. And it's again that, the angel devil on the shoulder, but he now has the backing of, I chose what may not have been the right choice for others, but it was the right choice for me. And it led him into the success of getting $1,000 every week. It's interesting how the choices that we make, how we may see them as a negative, could be a positive for someone else. And I am absolutely not condoning gangsterhood, but it's just interesting to see those dynamics play out. I also love, this was a really good episode. As much as I love, the romance and the happiness, I do. Point blank period. I really love that. And I love that this was the first time I personally, as someone who is really attuned to emotions, I felt connected to this episode. The other ones were just a bit too gangster gritty for me and too dark for me. I'm not saying that I don't love that. Trust me, I love me some dark stuff, but I also need that emotional connection in order to fully feel like I am a part and immersed in this world. And I didn't really feel that as much in the first two episodes. I absolutely felt it in this episode. And I know when we learn more about Sophia in the fourth episode, because that Sophia's episode is the fourth episode, and I'm very excited for that, especially because they keep hinting that maybe Sophia wasn't fully the hangman, or maybe there's more to that story. And I'm really excited for them to dive deeper into that and learn more about Sophia and her time in Arkham and her time leading up to the hangman, the hangman situation, because I like that we got to see a little bit more of the dynamic between Sophia and Oz, and we're learning that he had a kinship to her deeper than just, I was your driver. So much so that she is accosting him and asking him, was it worth it to see me fail and fall so deep? Was it worth it to see my family betray me? And I love that Oz looked her dead in the eye and said, yes, look at me. I hobble when I walk. I've got scars on my face. The underboss literally looked me dead in the eye and told me the entire Falcone family sees me as a joke. Of course it was worth it, because without that happening, I would not be where I am today. What was lovely was that despite all of that, he could still look Sophia in the eye and say, despite that, I am still so sorry for everything that happened to you. And I think that just adds a deeper level of complexity to Oz's character. It makes him a real human, that I can say, yes, I want this, but I hate that you suffered as well. And it's rare that you see that kind of development in a character. And again, it goes back to, I know that the Penguin is a bad person. He is a villain. But just like the Joker, in Todd Phillips' version of the Joker, we find ourselves rooting for the villains, but he is not a good person. He almost killed someone with a cell phone in the mouth, It's interesting, all of these shows recently, and I'm curious to know how you all feel about that too, this idea that we are humanizing and almost glorifying villains recently. I know that that's something that we've kind of always done with gangster films, but in this dark underbelly that is comics, we always have the bad guys, and normally we get to see darker sides of the heroes. But I think lately it almost feels like the world, or at least the creative side of the world, seems to believe that that's the stories that we want and that we are craving, is humanizing villains to the point of confusion, to the point where we don't even know, we're almost glorifying it and craving it, to where we are starting, at least me, I'm starting to appreciate the Penguin more than I did Batman. I love that we're adding all of these deeper, or peeling back the onions a little bit more to these characters. I will say, there's one more thing, speaking of characters. They kept calling Victor the Bagman, and I know, like, in drug deals, there is the Bagman. He's the one that you drop the money off, he grabs the stuff. I know that. Living in LA, I understand that concept. However, they kept saying it over and over again, and my spidey sense, you gotta research this sense kept going off. And so there is a character in DC called the Bagman, but it's a Mystic Arts guy that has absolutely no correlation to this show whatsoever. But I just needed to let you guys know there is a character called Bagman, but the Bagman character is not related to Victor. He literally is just the drug mule Bagman in the club. But I just needed to let you know that, because I like research and I need people to know that. I'm interested to see the dynamics as we're moving forward in this. We are now really solidifying the building blocks, but I also want to know, why did he leave Sophia? And that's what I mean by they're so vulnerable, and we have these moments where they seem so great, and then they do something like this where they just leave her. He literally had a long conversation about how you know, I'm so sorry. I appreciate you. And she's literally looking at him like, where do we go from here? How do I trust you? And he's like, I'm just going to continue to show you. I just have to show you. I have to show you that you can trust me. And then he leaves her. And then he just up and leaves her. I hope that she's okay. I hope that she ran away ahead of time. Come on, man. We got so far. And then you just... But hey, that's what makes good storytelling, right? That is what makes good storytelling. I am so excited for this next episode. And again, I feel more attached to the show now, given all of this emotional foundation. I feel that the building blocks of the show are finally solidified, and now the show is starting. I think that the first 2 episodes were super expository. They were laying the groundwork so thick and heavy, and I was just like, ugh. It was just weighing a lot. But I think that now we are in the thick of it. That is all the time I have. I do have to run out. Let me know your thoughts. Let me know what you're excited for. Let me know how you feel about the Falcons, how you feel about Sophia. Let me know how you enjoy the dynamics, and do you feel that we are in a time where we value villains more than heroes? Let me know in the comments below. Like, share, follow, hit all the buttons, and I'll see you guys for the next one. Bye.